Anyway, the guy that he was in the quarterback series with.
Yes.
Right? He's coming to town. And it's going to be a big game. And you got a chance to turn your season around after starting 0-3. You finally got to win somehow after Harrison Smith makes a play. And it just turns everything. And you got Patrick Mahomes coming to town. And you're taking 5 hours out of your day by the time you go to the park and go. It's a simple question. Simple question. Do you want to be great? That's the question. Do you want to be great? Do you want to beat Patrick Mahomes? I don't think Patrick Mahomes was doing anything other than getting himself ready for Sunday's game because, he's probably pissed off about what happened Sunday night. They're up 17-0. He starts throwing interceptions, almost threw another one, got a gift from the late flag on Sauce Gardner to wipe out what would have been his third interception. I guarantee you Patrick Mahomes is busting his ass this week. And this all goes back to the quarterback series where Kirk Cousins proudly tells the world, I don't work on Tuesdays when we're on a Sunday-to-Sunday schedule. Well, why don't you? It's football season. And I hear people say all the time, well, the NFL Players Association regulations dictate that players have one day off and that day is Tuesday. It doesn't apply to franchise quarterbacks. It doesn't apply to the guys who are the leaders of the team. It doesn't apply to the guy who needs to know the game plan, who needs to know the film, who needs to know the tendencies, who needs to know the tells, who either needs to be all in or he isn't all in. And it's the guys who are all in who win the big games, in the big spots, and advance to the big postseason matches, and ultimately get to the biggest game of all. That's the reality. That's just the basic reality. Do you want to be great? Yes or no? Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's like the world, do I not understand how the world works? Do I not understand what it takes to be great? The commitment you have to make,
right.
Sacrifices you have to make to be great. And I feel like an asshole saying it.
No,
but that's reality.
Yeah, no, I don't think you should feel like an ass for saying it. I think it is a fair question that I think really every major NFL head coach would go, that is kind of weird. Now, they're not going to say it publicly or anything like that, but yeah, I don't think you're off base there. I don't. And of course, we've had that groundwork laid out in front of us before already, just with the other great quarterbacks and some of the sacrifices they made. I mean, first off, it starts with, Rodgers and Manning, okay? And not Rodgers and Manning, Brady and Manning right there. And we know the work ethic they put forth 7 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, days preparing, having other backup quarterbacks doing projects for them, other people on the staff doing projects for them so they make sure they're totally prepared when it comes to Wednesday practice. We've seen that that's the formula for success. Now, not everybody has to go to the building to do that. I'll say that, right? I mean, I think Aaron Rodgers for years, he might have stayed home a little on Tuesdays because he had his own setup and he'd watch film there and do that. I get that. But Kirk Cousins is out there as saying, no, I don't go and I don't do work. I spend the day with my family. And that is odd. And especially when you're the highest paid employee in the organization. And you're right, it's an ultra super crazy competitive business. And you got a guy like Mahomes who, like I've said before, Andy Reid, when he talks about him, uses phrases like tear your throat out, tear your heart out, gym rat. And that Mahomes is pissed off and in the facility on Tuesday, working a little bit. They were there on a day. The day I went and interviewed them before week 1 was a day off. No players there. Guess who was there watching film when I got there? Hey, Patrick will be out in a little bit. He's kind of working right now. Hold on. Hey, Patrick will be out in a little bit. He's almost done. Blah, blah, blah. So, to your point there, yeah, I think the great quarterbacks in the game right now are definitely working on Tuesday. And, he's missing out on that for sure.
I don't know if it's a generational thing. I don't know if it's this drive-by social media mindset, Gen Z. I don't know. But, folks, if you want to be great at anything you do, at anything you choose to do in your life, whatever it is, you got to make a commitment to it.
Yeah, you got to live it.
You got to be willing. If you want nice house, if you want nice car, if you want to go on nice vacations, if you want nice things, they don't just fall out of the sky. Now, for some people, they do. But typically, you got to go work for it. You got to make the commitment. You got to be great. And you don't get great especially when you've got some big, like a big work day is coming up. Like there's a big meeting on Sunday. There's a big event on Sunday. And you know what the narratives are. You know what people are going to say. This is the guy you're chasing. This is the guy that's got the 2 rings. This is the guy who's regarded as the best quarterback in football. And he's coming to your building to try to take a game from you. Again, are we going to be surprised? And look, there was a time when people would say, well, what's going on here? When Johnny Manziel found out as a rookie that he was going to potentially start, or he didn't know yet. They hadn't decided whether or not he was going to start on a Sunday. He went to a Cavs game on a Tuesday night instead of getting himself ready for the possibility he's going to start. One of the things they used to report about Ben Roethlisberger, doesn't work very hard, doesn't study film at home. Right, that used to come up from time to time.
Sure.
I mean, when you're the quarterback,
some guys can get away with
most
it.
Money on the team,
yeah,
and you're the leader of the team. There's a higher standard for greatness. You can go below that standard and get by on your talent, or get by on whatever work you can cram in on the days when you are working. But for the ones who are truly great, they make that commitment. Tom Brady said it himself. To compete with me, you had better be ready to surrender your life to this because I am. And you could argue he's had to suffer very serious personal consequences for it because his family balance got out of whack, but he's got 6 Super Bowls that can never be taken away.
No, that's right. And
7.
I think you said it right.
7.
Yeah,
6. 7. I've lost track.
6 with one team, 1 with another. But I hear you. And there are some quarterbacks out there that have gotten away with that, right? I mean, Brett Favre, I don't think he was a go-in Tuesday guy. I think there was, some of that old generation or the super talented guys, maybe they got away with it a little bit to a degree. But I think even the super talented guys now know that, with the amount of money they're making and just the new culture of the NFL and how much is on the quarterback's plate, yeah, they're all working Monday and Tuesday. Now, how much of that day they're divvying up to go there, I don't know, because we got some evidence here on a Monday. I'm concerned.
That's his house.
I take it all
That's
back.
His house.
It is, I know.
That's his house.
You're right.
I mean, Pete's calling it a golf outing. Pete, that's his house. He's in his backyard with a kid, and he's putting balls. That's a far cry from flushing 5 hours down the drain to go to a baseball game. And that looks like paparazzi taking the pictures. This isn't, hey, everybody, look at me not working. Come on, take that down, Pete. Pete's stretching to try to disagree with me.
No, not Pete.
Put it
Pete.
up. But he's at his house. He's at his house, Pete. That's his house. All right.
Pete was not aware that Mahomes had a golf course at his house, right? I mean, Pete, you got to get used to it, Pete. You got to get these quarterbacks are making so much damn money.
Listen,
they got golf courses at their house now.
Kids. You know why Patrick Mahomes has a golf course at his house?
Because he works on Monday and Tuesday. Yes.
Right.
Yes. Right. And, Mahomes is a guy that, and I know he has a setup at home and everything there, too. So Mahomes lives it, as we know. We've heard from too many people. We've talked to too many people. I know too many people there in Kansas City. It's obsession. It's all day long. If he is taking a break, it's stuff like that. Oh, I'm going to go out and hit a few balls with the kids, whatever, after I've been working for a while. I imagine that's kind of how that day played out.
Yeah, I mean, we're not saying be crazed and throw your life completely out of whack, but the message that came from the Netflix quarterback series was that Cousins refuses to work on Tuesdays so he can be with his family. And then he goes to the bookstore by himself. He refuses to work on Tuesdays so he can be with his family. And then he sits there with a stack of fan mail. I mean, I don't know if it was for show, for the cameras. It just doesn't make any sense to defiantly say, I refuse to work on Tuesdays during football season. I'm sorry. I had a little bit of a switch flip for me when I heard that, because it's like you're either all in or you're not. During football season, when you're the quarterback of the team, the leader of the team, the guy who stirs the drink, the guy who sets the example, the guy who holds people accountable, it is part of the obligation, and it goes along with all those millions of dollars that you have made, period. All right.
Just a little flip switch there. Just a little bit. That's all it was.
Well, there's other switches that have already been flipped in the past when it comes to
The Twins won the series, though.
All right.
So you know, the Twins did win
That's
the
good.
series.
Oh, that's
so
good.
He got to see a
that's
victory.
good. Maybe he will go to the game. Maybe he can go to the game on Saturday night. Maybe he can just tap out of the meeting and go to the game. It's the only playoff game he's going to be at this year.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.